Here we go. It's time for an updated Habs prospect tier list. I know. I'm not supposed to roll everybody up on a Sunday morning, but guess what? Too bad. I'm gonna tell you who stinks and who's good. And it's probably gonna hurt some feelings, but please keep in mind, my opinion means nothing, okay? I might look at a guy like Luke Tuck and see a good Walmart greeter, but you might look at him and say, no, he's gonna be the next Wayne Gretzky, but a bit more tough. So let the games begin. Adam Engstrom is up first. He was picked 92nd overall back in 2022. He's a highly respected prospect. Look, I was kind of a little disappointed that I didn't get to see him at training camp, but I'm going to go ahead and put him right here as a bottom pairing defenseman. He's a pretty solid prospect. Next up is Cedric Guindon, who was also picked in 2022. Guindon's got 46 points in 48 games for Owen Sound. A lot of people seem to like him, but as for making the NHL, I'm sorry, but he's the very first guy going in my good luck tier. So now, of course, it's his job to prove me wrong. Next up, we got my man, the Bog Monster, Bogdan Kanyushkov, who's only 21 years old, and get a load of this, he's a captain in the KHL. Oh my god. There's just defensemen everywhere. Kanyushkov was picked in round 4 at the 2023 draft. He's got 26 points in 58 games. And believe it or not, he's also going right next to Engstrom. I got a really good feeling about him. I'm hoping he makes the NHL one day and just goes on to make a lot of Bogdan noise. Next up is Danil Sobolev, who's a teammate of Florian Jacki right now on the Bulldogs. And this guy is an animal. What a hit. A couple of nights ago against Quentin Musty. Boom! Puts mustard all over the ice. He was picked by the Canadiens in 2021. He's got 14 points this season in 43 games. And he's going in my good luck tier because he's got a lot of competition. But keep an eye on him because he's pretty fun to watch. Well, look who's next. Popcorn has entered the chat. Remember Mike from Stranger Things? Yeah, well, he's all grown up now, and he's actually a pretty good hockey player. The Canadiens picked David Reinbacher 5th overall in 2023. So far this season, he's got 11 points in 28 games over in North Korea or wherever he is. And I'm going to put Popcorn in the top 4 defenseman category. Hey, drop the gun. Is he going to be a star? I don't know. I really do hope he becomes a star, but I'm going to need a better gauge on this kid. I need to see him rescued and brought back to Canada, and until then, I'm just going to reserve my excitement and label him as a top 4 defenseman. Next on the list, we got Owen Beck, a fan favorite. Beck was drafted by the Canadiens early in round 2. He's been lighting it up since being traded to Saginaw. It's like the best thing that ever happened to him. And you know what? There's no doubt in my mind that there's already a spot reserved in the Canadiens' bottom 6 for Owen Beck. Who's next? What do we got here? Florian Jacki, another one of my personal favorites. He can score, he can hit, he can fold your clothes while you're still wearing them. And we gotta look at his hands. Can we bring up his hands? Oh my god, what a monster. I'm gonna put him in the fringe NHLer list. Don't tell him I said that, but in my heart, I'm really hoping he could be a bottom 6 forward. Like, I'm actively rooting for this kid. He's got 37 points in 44 games this year, which is quite a jump. So hopefully he can keep pounding his way to the top. Now, who likes a good magic show? Lane Hudson is going right to the top. Hudson was picked in the 2nd round back in 2022. Every team passed on him at least once. For some reason, they didn't want Frodo. They didn't want the ring. But right now, he just so happens to be putting up some historic numbers in the NCAA. In fact, if he even plays one game with the Canadiens this season, he might even win the Art Ross this season. Unreal. Now here we go. Next up, we got Emil Heineman. This poor guy looks great in Laval. He's already got 15 points in 20 games, but every time he gets called up, he's a victim. He's a victim of having to play on one of the Canadiens' many 4th lines. And believe me, they got a few of them. I'm going to put him in the bottom 6 tier, and I do still have some faith in Emil Heineman. He's got the tools. And now we're going to move on to our very first goaltender of the video. It's Jacob Dabish, who had some really good numbers in university. He did struggle to begin this season, trying to adjust and play at the AHL level, but anyone that's been watching Laval recently knows that he's been making a lot of improvements. He's only 22 years old. He was drafted in round 5 back in 2020, and I'm going to go ahead and put him right here because I feel like he's got some NHL potential. And speaking about potential in goalies, holy smokes, Jacob Fowler is next, and he's probably my favorite goaltending prospect in the system. He was drafted in 2023 when the Canadiens really cornered the market, and hey, he's going right next to Cobb, right next to him. And hopefully at least one of these guys is going to hit. Next up, we got Jared Davidson. Davidson's a 5th round pick from 2022. He made a lot of noise during the training camp and during the NHL preseason, but I was expecting a little more production in Laval based off of what I've seen in September. He's also been injured quite a bit, so there's that. And so far, he's only managed to muster up 9 points in 24 games. So for now, I'm going to put him in the fringe NHLer tier. That's where he's going. You hear me, Jared? Go ahead, prove me wrong. Moving on, look who it is. It's Mr. Mailloux, who's been on an absolute heater lately in Laval. Guy's like a point per game lately. Mailloux was drafted in the 1st round back in 2021, and I honestly believe that he's got all the tools to be a top 4 defenseman in the NHL. He's big, he's a bit of an agitator, he can put up a lot of points. Maybe he could use one more year in Laval to probably iron out his defense game. But yeah, top 4 defenseman all the way. Next on the list is Luke Tuck. I know there's a lot of people who still believe in him. I'm going to put him in the fringe NHLer category because I'm still not 100% sold. Tuck was picked in the 2nd round back in 2020. He's got 21 points in 25 games this season on a pretty stacked Boston team. And he's one of the many guys that really needs to turn some heads at camp next season. Oh, here we go. Mario Armia, come on down, my little friend. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the future. Mario, of course, identifies as an 18-year-old first overall pick in 2023. He's 6'3", 215 pounds of Aunt Jemima syrup, and he's already got 8 goals in his rookie season. 8! And if he can truly become the big, dominant first-line center that we've been looking for, this team is going to be in great shape. When Armia turns even 20, he's a potential star. Zero hesitation. Actually, step aside, Lane, because we got to put Armia at number 1. Next on the list is Guy Smiley. That's right, that's Matthias Norlinder. And I was talking about Jared Davidson being a bit of a disappointment. Holy smokes. While Matthias Norlinder has been way more disappointing. He was one of the last guys to be sent down to Laval this season. He was even looking like he was going to stick at one point. And since joining Laval, he's only got 4 points in 32 games. Offense is supposed to be this guy's bread and butter, so it's not looking good. He's also a minus 21. Norlinder was picked back in 2019. He should be ahead of all the other D prospects by now, but as time goes by, I honestly don't see him making the cut anymore. So good luck to Norlinder. Philip Major is next, the man of many nicknames. Some people call him Money Major, some people call him Majarzard, and some people even call him Dude, Where's Major? Now, I may or may not be responsible for a couple of these names, but anyway, let's get to the goods. He's been as hot as the devil's ass crack this season. Everybody knows it. 37 points in 27 games. He had an incredible World Juniors tournament. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and toss him into the bottom 6 tier, but keep an eye on him because he could be a guy who even moves up in the near future. Next up is Quentin Miller. He's a goaltender, and he's a 4th round pick in 2023. I'm going to put him just below Dabish and Fowler based off of what I've seen so far. And now we're going to move on to Sean Farrell, who's been having a pretty good season in Laval. Farrell's got 17 points in 24 games, but it might sound crazy, but I'm not even really all that high on him. I don't know why. I feel like he's going to be a fringe NHLer. It's probably going to be a terrible take. A bottom 6 player at best. I don't see a scenario where Farrell's kid is playing in the top 6 anywhere outside of LA. Again, Please, prove me wrong. Vincent's Roarer is next in line. Vincent's was picked in 2022, 75th overall. Last season, he was looking pretty sharp for the Ottawa 67s until he pretty much got decapitated. Must have even lost his mind. Went to Switzerland this season, and I still don't really know what we got in this guy, so I'm going to put him in the good luck tier. Yevgeny Volokhin is another goaltender who was picked in 2023. This guy has been on fire in the MHL. Like, look at his numbers. What's going on with this kid? He's a brick wall. Now, apparently from what I've been reading, the competition isn't all that great, okay? So keep your pants on. I'm going to put him on the fringe list, but he's definitely a guy that I'd be keeping my eye on. Here we go. It's a fan favorite, Joshua. And he's been just crushing it this season in Laval. He's got 32 points in 39 games. He also had a goal and an assist when he was called up a few weeks back. Wawa is going to be a top 6 beauty, in my opinion. William Trudeau, I'm going to have to put him in the fringe tier just because this poor guy's, he's got too much competition. And Xavier Simoneau, of course, I'm also going to put him in the fringe tier as well. He's one of my favorite players in Laval, though. Just a little guy, but he's such a friggin' ankle biter, man. He's got the heart of a lion. Now, I also forgot to add Riley Kidney for some reason. I don't know why, but he's also been pretty underwhelming this season as well. Fringe kind of guy. But that's it. That's going to do it for this Habs prospect update. I hope you all enjoyed. This is going to be a much longer video. You can go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Don't forget to poke the like button's eyes before you leave here. And hey, I'll see you next time.